Let's get straight into this. Today I want to talk about something that I keep seeing in our practice, and it's very concerning. Spouses of veterans, they often feel this distance, like their veteran partner is treating them like an enemy. And that is painful and it's common. But what's really going on beneath that surface is a need to understand who these veterans are, what they're wired for, and what they're carrying inside. Here's the fundamental truth. If your veteran spouse seems distant, if they treat you like you can't be trusted, it's not always about you. You're not always the problem. And in fact, oftentimes your love can be the thing that triggers their defense. And that can feel very confusing. How can someone reject the very people pouring love and trust into them? But it boils down to what war does to trust. Let me make this a little more personal. So when I was in Afghanistan, our mission was to help with the local people. Many of them were genuinely kind, but almost immediately you learn that you can't take that kindness at face value. In a combat zone, kindness can be a weapon. Some people are friendly to you just to get you to drop your guard, to let your defenses down so they can hurt you. And sometimes people are truly kind and genuine, but once the Taliban finds out that you trust them, they pressure those people. They threaten their lives, their families, and they face impossible choices. This means that any trusting relationship becomes a liability. When you trust, you open yourself up to harm. And if you trust someone else, then you're putting their lives in danger as well. So veterans learn to be guarded. They can trust their team because they look, think, and speak like them. But trusting outside that team, the people who don't share their background, it's almost impossible. This is exactly why so many veterans struggle when they come home. Suddenly they're asked to trust people who speak differently, who act differently, especially spouses and family. But those old combat lessons, they don't just switch off. Every friendly gesture can feel like a trap. Why are they doing this? Are they safe? And that suspicion becomes exhausting. I know this intimately. All right, in my own marriage, my wife showed me love and care that I didn't think I deserved. I'd mess up and think I wasn't worthy, that my value was only in what I could do or provide. Her kindness just threw me off. It didn't fit with how I saw myself. And that triggered a sort of alarm inside me. I started wondering, what's she really up to? Why is she acting like I matter? What's she trying to get me to drop my guard for? She was clearly trying to trick me into believing that I mattered, that I had intrinsic value, and that is definitely not true. The only value that I have was what I could do for the military. And especially as an infantryman, that is something that has no value anymore. So what is she trying to pull? Why is she trying to trick me? In my head, I was working so hard to prove this self-fulfilling prophecy. If I believed that I wasn't worthy, I'd find reasons to sabotage or distrust. I'd look for any inconsistencies, and any time things got rough, I saw it as her not being able to keep up the act any longer. And yeah, I know that sounds crazy. It is crazy. But knowing that it's crazy doesn't change the feeling that's buried deep in your bones. And I've talked to many clients that are in the same boat. Their spouses felt shut out no matter how much love they showed. Now here's the part that no one wants to talk about. You can't fix this on your own as the spouse. Like, you can't rescue someone from that level of distrust by sheer will or love. And the more you try to force them to understand that you really do just love them and care about them, it makes them feel more and more like you're just trying to trick them. If you're a spouse watching this, I want you to understand that it's not your fault. You're facing a kind of wall that's built from years of conditioning, from survival instincts that ran deep. But understanding what your veteran is going through, that's the first step. It's not about blame or faults. It's about knowing that the distance is a defense and not a rejection. And I know that doesn't help bridge the connection, but I hope that it helps with bearing the weight of it. And if you're a veteran, know this. You're not broken. You aren't weak. You are trained to survive in impossible situations. And the fact that you are struggling probably means that you were damn good at your job. But it also rewired how you trust, especially with people who seem different. And the good news is this: help exists. Others have walked this path and found ways to bridge the gap, to rebuild trust where it feels impossible. I can say from experience that this is something that can improve. I'm going to be honest with you, I still don't really feel like I have any inherent value. But I know that my wife believes that, and I know that it's genuine. I just think she's crazy. But regardless of the reasons, misguided as they may be, that I know that she genuinely loves and cares about me, and I have been able to stop the sabotaging. And that's a huge step forward. Now take a moment and think about your own experience. If you're in this situation, whether as a veteran or a spouse, what's one thing that you wish people understood about this distance? Drop your answer in the comments. If this video spoke to you, give it a like, subscribe, so you can see what Valorwell is doing to end this cycle. We're not just talking about surviving, we're talking about thriving together. Veterans and their families, we are in this as a team, and together we can build the trust that war has tried to break.